Consider all of the miles Alex Zanardi has traveled in the 18 years since he lost his lower legs in a frightful crash in Germany during the Lausitzring IndyCar race. The inspiring Italian has gone on to win multiple medals as a Paralympian and has also made his return to motor racing more often than not behind the wheel of a BMW. This month, for the very first time, he'll compete at the Rolex 24 at Daytona behind the wheel of a specially equipped BMW Team RLL M8 GTE.
Since it's a race car, let's talk about speed, and this is how I gain speed, by accelerating this way. This mechanism can be operated with both hands, but I tend to use my left one most of the time as the other one is busy doing other stuff. I'm upshifting this way with this paddle that you can see here. And I can downshift this way, but in reality, when this hand is busy operating this brake lever, of course I cannot downshift on the wheel. So what I do, I pull this trigger for the downshifting operation. The interesting thing is that with these solutions, we were able to leave the pedal box untouched. So when I step out of the car and one of my mates comes in, then other than having to ignore the brake lever, he finds the car exactly identical as he usually drives it. So it's a very compatible, let's say, set of mechanisms also for endurance racing, where I have to share the car with able-bodied drivers.
And how much force is required in terms of having to flex and pull back on the ring? Give us some thoughts about, is there a lot of force to that resistance, and how finely do you feel you can work the throttle?
In reality, you have to apply quite a decent amount of force. In Misano last year, I drove the DTM race, and in the pit stops, the engineers recorded up to 220 kilos worth of pressure, which is almost 500 pounds, which is what I applied on the lever. Of course, if you would put this amount of force on the lever, you would just lock everything and you would flat spot the tires. So I'm not never getting close to that number, but just to give you an idea of what I can do. And this is not just out of my muscles, it's also, I'm kind of using the deceleration to lean onto the lever. So it's actually much easier when I'm out there than simulating the movement when I'm here in the garage. But don't think at this all like something that is magical. It's not beyond magical. It's difficult, for sure. It's difficult to negotiate everything, and especially when something goes wrong as the car stepping sideways or into traffic, it's certainly harder. I mean, it would be much better to use the instruments that Mother Nature gave me in the first place, but since I've lost some of them, I have no choice. This set of controls was a little step backward to start with, because in some places to enter into the corner with only one hand on the wheel is not that easy. So whenever I was applying pressure onto the brake pedal via my prosthetical leg, that was a more natural solution for me to drive the race car. But the more miles I have done, the more I've driven the car, and the more I learn what it takes to still drive, to still take the car to the limit, in spite of the fact that at times I only have one hand on the wheel. It's not impossible, it's just a little bit more difficult. So I'm getting there.